In this video, I'm going to talk to you about our different signature types. On iPEGS Remote, we have three different signatures. We have a standard signature, we have our third-party approval signature, and we have multiple third-party approval signatures. I'm going to show you how to add these different field types to your form, but I'm also going to talk to you about when to use these different fields. So I'm in my form builder here. I've created a basic form, and the first thing I'm going to do is add a standard signature. So if you look at the right hand menu here, if you're ever unsure, just leave your mouse over the top. You can see there's our three different signature types. So I'm just going to drag on here and add our first signature. So very straightforward. I'm literally just going to add the signature there. So that's what it looks like on the form builder. If I open up the form now, you can see we've got our signature. This is what your user or client would see, and they can simply click on that signature box. They can sign their name with their mouse pad, with the finger on their screen, with a stylus. They have to print their name, and there we have it. It's added the signature. Now, when should you use standard signatures? Well, there's two different scenarios. One is if you are sending a form to your user and only they need to sign it. Okay, so if it's a standard form, you send it to them, they complete it, they sign it, nobody else needs to do anything else. They hit the submit button, the process is complete. The only other scenario where you would only have a standard signature is if you were completing the form face-to-face with your user. So for example, you've got an iPad, your client or your user completes their part of the form, they sign it, they hand it back to you, you complete your part of the form and you sign and submit. So they're the two main scenarios when you would use standard signature. Then we have our third-party approval signature. So again, I'm going to drag this onto the screen now. So I'm just going to call this third party. Now the difference with this type of signature, you'll see when you add it to the form, it doesn't show the normal sort of example signature. It just has approval email address. Now, if we go back to our form now, you will see a new box has appeared. Now, the way a third-party signature works is when the form goes to your user, so imagine I'm the user now, I click on here, I sign my signature, just put test in here, and now I want to send this back to you so you can sign it. Okay, so if we just put test in here and we put test.ipegs.co.uk, when I hit the submit button now as your user, the form will get sent to this email address, which would usually be yours. When you get that email, you click on the link, this form will open, and this box will then turn into a signature box like this one for you to sign. So when would you use a third-party approval signature? Well, when the form needs to be signed or completed by your user, but if it then also needs to be signed by you, or if you need to send it to somewhere else for them to sign. Now, having this box here isn't always, you might not necessarily want your users to have to enter your name and email address. So there is a way to predefine that and hide that information. So if I go back to the form builder now, if I click on edit, you'll see that we've got an option here called third-party approval settings. So if I now put in the email address in here, I'll just put test here. If I save those changes now and I go back to the form, when I hit refresh, that field disappears. So basically the system now knows that once this user has signed and they hit submit, it will automatically email you the form with the link, and when you click on that link, your signature box will then appear, you will sign and hit the submit button. Okay, so that's third-party approval signatures. The other thing you can do with third-party approval signatures is you can create what we call a workflow. So if you need more than one person to sign, but in a set order, you can do that with third-party approval signatures. So in this case, it might be the client or the user signs the form first. You then might want it to come to you to sign and approve. But if you then needed another person in the workflow, so we'll call this third party 2. Again, you can predefine the email address of that user. What will happen is the client will sign, submit. You will then sign and submit. It will then go to the next party for them to sign and submit. So you can actually create a workflow of who needs to complete the forms when. If you are going to do that, you have to add the signatures, the fields, in the actual order that you want the form to flow. Then we have our multiple third-party approval signatures. So let me just delete the third party. One thing to note, you can't have normal third-party and multi-third-party signatures on the same form. So if I want this form to now be sent to, let's just call this multi1, and I'm going to add another one called multi2. So let's refresh this page now. So you'll now see that we have our normal signature, but we have two third-party approval boxes here. Now, when would you use multiple third-party signatures? Well, this is if you want the form to be sent to more than one person to sign, but at the same time. So remember, with normal third-party approval, it goes in a set order. With multi-third party, it goes to both these users at exactly the same time. So we'll put test1 here, and we'd put test1 email address, and then you'd have test2 here, and we'd have test2 email address. So this is two separate email addresses to separate people. Now when we submit the form, an email will be sent to test1 and to test2. They're able to click on the link, they're able to view the form, they can then sign it, okay, and they can both submit at the same time or at different times. The main difference is that these parties will not be able to see what each other has put on the form, only the original user form information. Okay, again, you can do the same thing if you want to predefine where you want those signatures to go to the third-party approval settings, enter the email address and name of multi-third-party 1, and do exactly the same for multi-third-party 2. So that's how we have our different field types. Please note that third-party approval and multi-third-party approval, they are both advanced features. So if you do get stuck or you're not sure, please catch us on live chat or email support@ipegs.co.uk.